Hello, friends. We are here with a new episode. Today, we are speaking with legal expert Selvi Ganesh, and we are going to understand about uniform civil code. हम यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के बारे में समझते हैं आज सेल्वी गणेश से, तो उनको हम वेलकम करेंगे. वेलकम सेल्वी
Thank you.
गणेश.
Thank you, Sonal ji.
Okay, तो अब आप बताएं, tell us about what should we understand about uniform civil code. क्या समझे हम इसके बारे में?
ये यूनिफॉर्म क्या है? यूनिफॉर्म क्यों होना चाहिए? जब डाइवर्सिटी हो, जब विभिन्नता हो, अगर वो विभिन्नता नहीं चाहते हैं, आपको सिर्फ एक जैसा होना चाहिए, तो आप यूनिफॉर्म करना चाहते हैं. तो ये है विभिन्नता के अपोजिट जो है वो यूनिफॉर्म हो जाता है यहाँ पे. तो यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड कहते हैं. ये सिविल कोड क्या होता है? एक सिविल कोड है, एक कानून. ये क्रिमिनल कोड होता है, फिर ये सिविल कोड होता है. एक क्रिमिनल कानून और ये है सामाजिक. ये दो तरह की कानून होते हैं. ये जो क्रिमिनल का कानून है, जिसका आप उल्लंघन करेंगे या पालन नहीं करेंगे तो आपको दंड मिलता है. अब ये सामाजिक कानून जो है, उसका उल्लंघन हो गया या पालन नहीं हुआ तो इससे आपको दंड नहीं मिलता. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जैसे एक बच्चा पैदा होता है तो आपको उसको माँ बाप उनके लिए ये पहला कानून जो लागू होता है, जैसे एक शिशु पैदा होता है, वो पहला ये लॉ है कि उसके लिए एक सर्टिफिकेट बनाए, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट. अगर आप बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट नहीं बनाएंगे तो ये तो कानून का पालन नहीं हो गया ना. लेकिन उससे आपका दंड नहीं मिलेगा. आपको आगे चल के कोई एफिडेविट बनाना पड़ेगा कि हाँ, हमारे पास ये जो बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट है वो नहीं है ना. तो ये जो सामाजिक कानून जो है, ये सिविल लॉस जो है, सिविल कानून जो है, वो परवरिश से हम हमारे मृत्यु और हमारे मृत्यु के बाद भी चलता है. जब पैदा होते हैं फिर हम वो जो गवर्नमेंट्स में वो पत्र मिलता है जो हमारा बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट है, उसको लेके जाना होता है स्कूल में एडमिशन लेने के लिए. हम एडमिशन लेते हैं, हम तो बड़े हो जाते हैं, खाते हैं, एक दूसरे की प्लेट में खाते हैं, टिफिन से खाते हैं, खेलते हैं, कूदते हैं, अच्छा सा हमारा परवरिश हो जाता है. जब आती है हमारी शादी की टाइम, जब हम शादी का जब बात आने लगती है, तभी हमको पता चलता है कि वो मुसलमान है, ये जात का है, वो जात का है, ये क्रिश्चियन है. ये सब कुछ बातें तब आने लगती है. सो यहाँ से हमारी नौबत शुरू हो जाती है. सो ये है कि हम यहाँ से हम बढ़ जाते हैं. हमें यहाँ अभी ये जो मुद्दा है यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की, आज की बात नहीं है. जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाया गया तब से ये बात चल रही है. सबको एक जैसा एक कानून बना दो. सामाजिक कानून है वो सबके लिए एक जैसा होना चाहिए, लेकिन वैसा है नहीं. जब मुसलमान का जो कानून है वो अलग है, वो क्रिश्चियन का जो अलग है, हिंदू का अलग है.
So why wasn't it changed then? Why wasn't it changed then during the independence?
At the time of independence, it was not changed because it is the Hindu Mahasabha which was opposed to the whole thing. They don't want to, bring the change to come in. So that is why only few reformations were brought about in the Hindu code itself. Previously, there was within Hindu code itself, mostly it so happens, it affects women. ये महिलाओं को बहुत क्या कहते हैं, महिलाओं का जो अधिकार है उसके संबंधित है. हर the entire uniform civil code is all about women. It's all about her rights. It is the women who has to understand and ask what you want at this point of time.
Can you
The women
explain
were not.
what rights? आप किस rights की बात कर रहे हैं?
नहीं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ये जो है यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड है, अभी जो उन्होंने आगे रखा है दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन 2018 का जो लॉ कमीशन का रिपोर्ट है. लॉ कमीशन का रिपोर्ट हमारी मैरिज, it is talking about what you call children, adoption. It talks about divorce. It talks about custody and maintenance. It talks about succession of property. Okay, so iske what these are the topics which this law commission report deals with. Okay, ये जो law commission के ये जो report है इसकी marriage, it affects women, right? Child, who can, if you are childless, who can adopt? Whether wife can adopt, women can adopt, whether widow can adopt, who can adopt? Okay, if both of you adopt and the husband decides to leave, then whose responsibility is that child? So in every direction, if you see, it affects women. So it is very important for this matter to be discussed among women. She should be empowered. She should know what is, she will be the most affected person. ये महिलाओं के लिए एक ये जो यूसीसी है वो बहुत महिलाओं के लिए अफेक्ट करता है. It affects women. So it is very important for women to be in the discourse.
वैसे तो अभी महिलाएं इतनी अवेयर नहीं है इस कानून के बारे में.
हाँ, इसलिए तो I'm so grateful to you. I know that you are asking these questions. It is very important that every woman should ask question, what is there for me? Because the entire UCC is all about women. It is going to affect her life. विभिन्नता है. अभी ये क्या विभिन्नता है? हिंदू लॉ जो है, previously it was not codified. Only after the constitution was drafted it was codified. Before that, a man can marry or have as many women in his life. If you take any Raja, Maharaja, they all had hundreds of women. There was a travelogue written by one Danish businessman who came to Tarangambadi, that is somewhere close to Tanjore. When he came here, it was ruled by a Maratha king. When he died, he saw something which was very shocking. 119 women were pushed into his pyre, and 119 women were burned along with that Maharaja's pyre. This was in late, the end of 1600s. This is something was noted. So men can have as many wives. So this reform was brought in after independence, when the Hindu code came into being. So for the first time, the concept of one marriage was introduced.
Can you explain what is codified? What do you mean by Hindu law was codified?
Previously, Hindu law was not.
Viewers will not know what is codified. So,
yeah, codified. अभी हम कहते हैं ना, इसके ऊपर 302 लग गया, 420 कर रहा है, ये सारा कोड से एक सेक्शन डालते हैं, वो सेक्शन का नंबर इस सेक्शन के मुताबिक है ना, ऐसा. सो वो कोडिफाइड मतलब पहला तो ऐसा लॉ था कि जैसे राजा का पहला बीवी का पहला बच्चा वो राजा बनेगा, है ना, वो तो था. तो वो कहीं पे कोडिफाइड नहीं था. ये वाला कानून के अंदर, ये सेक्शन के अंदर ऐसा लिखा हुआ नहीं था. तो ये जो कोडिफिकेशन जो होता है, तो वो ओके, ये लॉ है, इसके अंदर ये सेक्शन के अंदर ये वाला कानून है. सो दैट इज कोडिफिकेशन होता है. ओके, अब ये हिंदू लॉ है. अभी आप मोमेडियन लॉ है. मोमेडियन लॉ में it allows 4 marriages for men. When a man is marrying a woman, he has to give her dower. Whereas in Hindu law, the woman has to give dowry, right? There are two opposite. So at the time after independence, when they wanted to introduce this uniform civil code, there was opposition because there are two different laws. How do we reconcile them, right? Which is better? Women giving dowry or man giving dowry to women, which is better? So this is the time for we women to choose what we want. We want to give dowry or we want to take dowry, because both the laws are there in India. So whichever is the best, that we need to choose.
But dowry is illegal in India.
It is illegal, though it is illegal, but it says, under Dowry Prohibition Act, you can actually register what are the things that you have given in dowry, right? So this is not totally prohibited as such, okay? But whereas dower in Islam is about when you get married, because they allow four marriages, up to 4 marriages you can marry 4 women. But there is a responsibility. You don't just marry like that. There's a responsibility. You give dower or you promise a dower, right? So after promising a dower, at the time of marriage, you give her that whatever has been promised, or at the time of divorce, you give her that money or whatever property, you have to give it to her, right? So that security is there. I find Mohammedan law is more favorable to women than the Hindu law. So Hindu law, even within the subsistence of marriage, there is no provision for a husband to give maintenance to the wife. But whereas, see, under Mohammedan law, during the subsistence of marriage, the man has to give pandan to the women. Whereas that requirement is not there in Hindu law. Hindu law, the woman is bringing dowry and she has to live whatever in that dowry money that she is bringing in. There is no responsibility cast upon the husband to give provision to the wife.
If you remember the Shah Bano thing, maintenance was opposed by Muslims, that there is no maintenance allowed in Sharia law when the Shah Bano thing happened.
Because the dower, the man has to give her the dower. At the time of what you call divorce, the man gives the dower money. Okay, so end of it. And after the divorce, the under Muslim law, he has no responsibility towards the women, right? So, but we have a criminal procedure code. Under criminal procedure code, she filed. Criminal procedure code is for uniform for all.
Okay, yes.
Right, under criminal procedure code, Shah Banu has what he call asked for maintenance. So this criminal procedure code that talks about a destitution. No one should be left to be destitute, be it a daughter, be it parents, or be it a wife, abandoned wife. Okay, so under that law, she had applied for this maintenance.
Okay.
Right. So either you get maintenance as in the form of a dower, or you can always get it through we already have a law, a criminal procedure code, where the women can go and ask for maintenance. It's not only for just for wife, it is for sister, it is for mother, it is for anybody, parents, old age parents, children.
What, according to you, are the likely changes which will come, say, for
No, we have to demand for it. Even
or
the
Christians
UCC
or
draft is.
what
we have to demand for it.
Demand for what?
Because the UCC draft is not yet ready. So we need to demand, as women, we need to demand the best. Whatever is the best to secure, give her full security, that needs to be demanded. Whether it is coming from Mohammedan law, whether it is coming from Hindu law, whether it is coming from a general law.
Right now, we are debating on the basis of what? On the basis of nothing.
Right now, it is only most of them. I follow what they are speaking. They only just simply talking about uniform civil code, something we are doing great for the women and all those things. Triple Talaq. They are making it as a Hindu law is better, Muslim law is bad, which is allowing four wives. That is not good. But actually, the four wives concept is giving security to four women. But whereas in Hindu law, there is only one marriage. He marries one woman and he has 3-4 women outside the marriage. So what happens is these women who are living with him outside the marriage, she doesn't get any protection. Her children are called illicit, नाजायज कहलाए जाते हैं. उनको नाम नहीं मिलता, उनको प्रॉपर्टी नहीं मिलता, उनको कुछ नहीं मिलता. Whereas in Muslim law, it is cast for marriage. It is a responsibility of the man to provide maintenance during the marriage.
Also, I would like to know, now that there is also another change in our law where if you can prove that this person is your father, whether he is married to your mother or not married to your mother, you can still get a portion of his inheritance or his money when he dies. You can inherit money or his property.
Yes. If that comes out, we need to demand for that. If that they put it in uniform civil code, they have to, because everyone he cannot just go around making every other woman pregnant. And what option she has? Either she has to go for abortion, or she has to leave the child in some home, or sometimes most of the children were picked up from the dustbin or even in the gutters. Why? Because the law is not giving protection to the women, to the child which is born. Because the law says only one wife. So the first wife gets everything. Maybe she didn't get any love from the husband because the husband is going around other women. She doesn't get anything, but all that she's getting is property for her children.
Right. So now, but there is this thing that even illegitimate children can inherit property from the father. That is there. We have this amendment that says that even illegitimate children can inherit the property of their fathers if he dies.
So the law has not come into being. So we have to the law has not come into being yet.
Selvi, you said that according to the civil law that we have in the country, an illegitimate child is not going to get property of the father. But we saw in the N.D. Tiwari case, when his illegitimate son, Rohit Shekhar, applied for, said that N.D. Tiwari was his father, and then the court kind of asked Mr. Tiwari to go for a paternity test, and then that's how they proved that he was the son. So can you explain that?
Yes, Sonal. As on today, there is no protection for a child which is outside the one marriage concept, right? A man can go around having as many relationships as possible. Now, in this particular case, this person was powerful enough. He could move the Supreme Court. We know the cost of Supreme Court, how much the lawyers are charging. So he knows how much property that he would get if he wins that case. In civil law, there is no provision for a man to give a consent for DNA test. Under criminal law, the police can take DNA test, but whereas in civil law, there is no compulsory for him to accept the DNA test or give consent for the DNA test. In this particular case, the Supreme Court compelled Mr. N.D. Tiwari, who was a chief minister, he was also a governor of Andhra Pradesh, to give consent for a DNA test. That is how he was able to get that. Otherwise, there are men, they go around having relationships, but the other women or the children does not get any legal protection whatsoever. So here is where the four-marriage concept in Islam gives protection to these four women. Hindu men, we know, people have four, five women. Like, for example, whether it is Hema Malini or Sridevi or my state's chief minister had, four wives. It is the Hindu men who had all these relationships like that. Whereas Muslim men, though the law provides that he can have up to four wives, they generally don't go for it because it comes with a responsibility. He has to give a dower. He has to give a maintenance while in the marriage, while in the relationship. So this gives more protection for women. This law, the Mohammedan law, is giving more protection to women and children than the Hindu law of one marriage concept.
What is the general understanding is that if the law doesn't provide for extra marriages and you can only have one wife, then the general understanding is that you will actually then have one wife. And so that the other women will not get mistreated or have second, third, fourth wives. That's the general impression. So what do you have to say about that?
As I told you in the beginning, criminal law and civil law. If you violate criminal law, you will be punished. If you violate civil law, there is no punishment. Under the civil law, there is one marriage. Under Hindu law, there is only one marriage. But if a man chooses to violate, there is no punishment. He can go around making as many women pregnant, and those women have no option but to go for abortion or leave the child in the gutter or in the dustbin or some orphanage. So we know the number of orphanages in this country. Without father, without mother, the child has to grow up. Why? What is the responsibility of a man who is going around impregnating women? What protection she has? So this is the time, if at all the government is coming out with UCC, it is a woman who has to voice and tell we want protection. Now in this case, in 2013 case, Indra Sharma versus VKV Sharma. Okay, in this case, this VKV Sharma is already married man, but he was having an affair with his colleague, and he was living with her, and she had to go through several abortions. But she went to the court, and the court said, I'll just read it for you, what the court said. The court, this is what the court is saying. See, this is the patriarchal society that we are living in. The court, the judgment, everything comes patriarchal. So it says, the appellant and the respondent's relationship is, therefore, is not a relationship in the nature of marriage because it has no inherent or essential characteristics of a marriage, but a relationship that is other than in the nature of marriage, and the appellant's status is lower than that of the status of a wife. So she will not get anything. She filed a case under domestic violence because she had to constantly go through this abortion after abortion. She can't even give birth to the child. She is forced to abort. So what protection she has?
Yeah, I get it.
Right. In order to have protection, I think if the government is insisting on UCC, you better give us something. Give the women and the children. Stop them from being illegitimate. Make sure that if the man is getting into a relationship, make sure that she gets a property, she gets the child name, she gets to live in dignity. She don't have to go through abortion after abortion and live with comorbidity.
Okay. How will that change the Hindu undivided family? There is that law also.
There is another catch. This Hindu undivided family thing, this particular law commission report is not addressing at all. Right? The first Hindu Mahasabha, it opposed the uniform civil code at that time because all the privileges, the karta, and the HUF businesses get will be taken away. Again, this same issue of uniform civil code was brought about during the Narasimha Rao government. At that time also, it is the Hindu businessmen who opposed, because they stand to lose this privileges, the kind of business concession, tax concession, subsidies, and all kind of thing which the HUF or the Hindu United Family Business gets. They don't have to follow company law. They don't have to follow all the requirement. If one violation, one thing goes missing, one paper, they are heavily, penalized under company law. But whereas in HUF, they don't have to go through any of this. They can keep on making profit.
Okay.
So this HUF is not touched by this ILC report. So that's another thing where they are trying to do something. They are trying to project as if they are going to do something better by bringing in Hindu law. In fact, Hindu law is very, very detrimental to women and children.
And as far as Christians are concerned, how could
as far as Indian Christians are concerned, there is no separate law for Christians, right? It is only Indian Marriage and Divorce Act that was enacted during the British time. When it was enacted, the population was minuscule. The Christian population was minuscule. Indian Christian population was minuscule. And the foreigners who were there, they were comfortable with the system which was prevalent in their country. So they would rather go back to their country for whatever, whether it is a property matter, whether it is a succession matter, whether it is a divorce matter or a custody matter. They went to the legal system back home than fighting it out. So today's Christians, they are socially they are still Hindus, because they take dowry, they see caste at the time of marriage, right? All the behavioral aspect of Christians are just like that of Hindus.
They have an inheritance law which is different?
Inheritance law, succession law is different for Parsis, because Muslims also, because the remarriage is very common in Islam and also in Parsis. But whereas in Hindu, remarriage is not common. So when there is a remarriage, then you have this paternal, what we call half brother, half sister, maternal, uterine, half brother, half sister. All these concepts are there. So how much the uterine brother will get, or how much the uterine sister will get, and all those calculations are there when it comes to succession. So whereas in Hindu law, they said one marriage, all the other women gets nothing, only that one woman and her children gets everything. Now, for example, one famous example is Gemini Ganeshan, right? He had 4 wives. You have Savitri. Savitri children got nothing from his property, neither the fatherhood. And Rekha also, Rekha and her sibling did not get anything from Gemini Ganeshan's property. So it is only the...
Rekha's mother was?
Rekha's mother was some actress. I forgot his name. So you can see the famous examples I'm giving, where who gets what. Now, if at all anybody else gets anything, it is out of goodness. Now, for example, after Karunanidhi, it is Stalin, right? So if Kanimali is there, Kanimali is out of his goodness. She is getting something. Had it not been that goodness factor, she would be nowhere. Right. So it is only the other women have to be, other women are just other women. Okay. So under the mercy, if the man chooses to give or recognize your child, then it is, you get something. Otherwise, you are under the mercy of that person. She does not get legal protection. Just now I read out the judgment. They are saying she's a less than a wife, less than a status of wife. But then why is he going and using her? No punishment is accorded because it is civil law.
Okay.
So that is why there is a civil procedure code. Women should understand what is there for her and the women should come forward and press what is best for her. This is the time that we women should talk about it. We women should talk about this kind of treatment which is meted out to her children, her own body, where she has to go through abortion after abortion after abortion, or she had to throw the baby somewhere.
So,
how can a mother be happy or at peace in her life when she gave birth to a child, she threw her child? I think the whole life she would have been haunted by the thought. These psychological factor and all we don't take into account. The trauma that women go through, that we don't take into account. I think this is the time that we should speak on that.
okay, so actually what you're saying is, therefore, maybe the Christian marriage act or a divorce act or whatever will not get affected, or that's not a big factor there. What are you saying?
See, it is about the people. People, they didn't even know that, there's some Christian marriage act is there, right? So they are just going by the society, the social norms. The social norms are above the what we call the legal norms. Even now, it is a taboo for a Christian women to go for abortion. There is a there is an allegation. Christian women, the Christian community, the divorces are very high. Why? Because she is educated, she is empowered, she cannot put up with all the thing. You know that your husband is going around with another woman. Why would she stay with him? It is a question of her own integrity, right? Why should she stay with him? But whereas a Hindu woman, she knows that she is having 3-4 affairs, but still she will stay back. She will not say a word. Why? Because at the end of the day, the property, she will get it. So she will not just throw away and go away. Despite knowing that she is someone who lives all her life loveless. But she holds on in that marriage, because at the end of the day, she will get the property.
Okay. Thank you, Selvi. There's anything else you would like to add to this?
So this is what we call, the one thing I want to add is, as many women should, they should be made aware of what it is, what these personal laws are, and how it is against her. And she should demand what is best for her. Because whatever law the government wanted to bring in, they brought in. No matter how many political parties protested against it, they still brought in. Whether a linkage of PAN card with your Aadhaar card, there was a lot of noise. Even the Supreme Court gave a judgment that it cannot be linked. But then that is bypassed. Now they are taking a consent from you, saying that willingly I'm giving. But willingly you're giving, why? Because the system is not accepting your when you're filing your tax returns. It is not accepting if you are not linked. But when you have to go, it is compelled, because unless it is linked, you cannot file. Unless you are filed, there is all other things linked to that, right? So anything, unless you get some real tough what we call opposition, like the farmers' law, they were there in the sun, in the rain, in the winters. They endured. And finally, it is not fully taken back. They had only shelved it. The farmers' laws are only shelved. It is not at all taken back as yet. Right? So they will look for an opportune time to do it. So here also, even NEP, how much noise were taken, how much noise were raised, but still NEP is there. My second son is the first batch, is enrolled under NEP curriculum, right? So it will come up. UCC also, it will come up.
What is NEP?
So it is
for the benefit of people listening, what is NEP?
NEP is National Education, what is this program, na? That so that is under policy, National Education Policy. Tamil Nadu is saying no as of now, but then it is implemented in other places. First, they are implementing it with minority colleges. Most governments are not willing to implement yet, but then it is if they want the autonomous status in minority colleges, they have to implement this NEP, National Education Policy, right? So that is also come into being. So no matter whatever noise has been raised from here and there, nothing is going to work out. So it is for us women to be alert and assert what is best for ourselves, our children, our girls, our next generation. Our lives are gone, but at least we should stand for our sisters.
Okay. Right. Thanks a lot for speaking to us, explaining how it is going to affect us when the draft is out. Right now, the draft also is not out. We are just speaking without any basis, actually, or just the recommendations of the Law Commission, right? That's what we're speaking. Yeah.
Report, recommendation of Law Commission report, based on which we are talking all these. The draft is not yet ready. We have to be really, really alert.
So when
the entire nation, we are very few what we call English speaking women in this country. We are minuscule. I don't know how many percentage. I do not know. So we have to be alert, and we have to secure the best for ourselves and our children.
Okay, right. Thank you. So you saw that we were speaking to Selvi Ganesh and trying to understand what the civil uniform civil code will look like, or can look like, or what should we do. And so this gives us a little clarity about what the law is all about and how women will be affected by the law, are likely to be affected, and how they should become more aware of what the law will be. When the draft comes out, they should be ready with demanding or have discussed what they would like to get out of it and how it will affect their life. They should know about that. I'm thankful to Selvi for speaking to us. Thank you. Please do comment, like, and subscribe to our channel, and definitely share.